Okay, so I have made two maps, one of the share of people with higher education in each tract in Oslo, and one with the playground density. I want a final product where both of these two maps are present in the same layout. How do I achieve that and how do I export that as a JPEG? Well, that's what I'm going to show now. First of all, we need to insert a new layout from the insert top menu. A4 format is quite familiar for most people. And we can also add some guidelines here, which any object would snap to. So now I'll go for offset from the edge, both vertically and horizontally, 5 millimeters from the edges. Beautiful. And I could add the add frame as it is, but I won't do that. Or I can show you briefly that. Now I will get a map frame with the map with all of these map layers. Also all the map layers I just used to get to the final maps. And I think these are too many elements to navigate through each time I have to work with the layout. So instead I will make a new map. Remove the base map and I will simply copy the playground density map layer. Oh, ArcGIS Pro hanged up a little bit there. Then go to the new map, right click and paste. And also for the sake of ease, we can rename this map to map playgrounds. If you now go to layout and we go to the insert menu in the top, map frame, we can now add the playgrounds map. Like that, for example. But it's strangely like offset the content. So let's go to layout in the top menu and activate, and then make sure to have the map frame activated. And we can reposition Oslo. And we can also get a more rounded scale like that. And we can then close the activation. Now that is one map, and also we don't have any idea about this map, what it shows if we showed it to people. Like they would know what it is about, because we don't have any title and we don't have any legend explaining what the colors symbolize. So we have to add a couple of things. We can add a legend. Let's take it here outside the box. Nice, but not nice, because there's a lot of redundant information here. We have playground mentioned twice and we have way too many decimals. Now you can see that the top playground density here, that is the same as the name of the layer. Now I want to keep the name of the layer as it is. I don't want to change it over here for when I'm working with the project. So what we can do is to right click on the legend and go to legend items, show properties, remove the layer name. And we can keep the heading, which is this text, which is the top text there now. And we can rename it to playgrounds per 1,000 people. And that's not very like title friendly text, so we'll add a title above that, which is playground density. So we have the top text just giving the straight away intuitive explanation of what the map is about. It's about the density of playgrounds, and then the text below we explain what exactly we mean with playground density. And then we have all of these decimals that we don't really need, but to change that we need to do that in the map layer and not in the layout. So right click on the map layer, go to the symbology, and then the rightmost icon here, format labels, and we will keep the category as numeric, but we want to reduce the number of decimals to 1. Much nicer. Now I want the title to stand out a little bit more from the heading text. Simply to like show that it is a title. So we go back to the legend properties, click on this little arrow, and then go to title. Then we open the appearance and we change the font style to bold. Also, I think it's a little bit big. Like font size 18, I will change it to 14. And also, I want to make the playgrounds per 1,000 people smaller. So we go and find the headings text element and reduce the size to 10, which I think is the same as the labels, the values. Yes, it is. Ta-da! We have OK map. I want the gap between the heading and the title to be a little bit smaller, so then we can go to legend arrangement options and spacing, and here we have a lot of spacings, but it's this one I want to alter now, like that. Beautiful. And that's one map down, one more to go, which we want to add here. So we will do the same procedure as we did with the first map. We'll make a new map. And we will remove the base map. We will find in the working document the education share map layer. We will copy it and go back to this map, the new map, paste in the education share map layer. You can also rename the map, so it's map education. And now we will not go up here and set it in the same way we did with the first map. Instead, to keep the size of the map frames identical and also the center of them, I will make sure to select this map frame, copy it using short keys, Control and C, or we can take it here, copy and right click again and then paste. And it comes, now we have two maps that are identical. I mean, really identical. But now comes the trick. We make sure to select this map frame, and as you can see, the element panel appears the same way as if we had selected properties. Now here at map frame, we don't want them. We don't want to show the playground map. We want to show the education map. So you can select that one here. Now it changed, and that's really annoying. But we still have the same aspect ratio and size of the map frame. So that is something. But if you now go to display options, and under constraint we select linked map frame center and scale, and we say that we want it to be the same map frame center and scale as map frame. And if you look at the elements that we now have in the layout, we have 3 elements. We have the legend box of the first map, and we have these 2 map frames. And if you notice, when I select the map frames here in the content table, you can see that I notice here which one it is by the squares popping up in the corners. So we can rename the map frames to make the names a little bit more intuitive. So again, playground. And the bottom one is then education. Now, if I now go over here and I say that I want the education map to have the same map frame center and scale as the playground's map frame, and behold, they are identical. Wonderful. Then we can add a legend to this map, and we can do quite much of the same tweaking as we did with the first map. So we can remove the layer name, we can we can now also change the heading here with like share is the same as percentages, but we can do that because I want to add the percentage sign behind the values as well, since they are percentages. We want to show a title, education, we have all, oh, not like that. And I want to change some of the text symbols of the title, for example. Font size 14, font style bold, apply. Then the headings, font size 10, and the spacing was it between the title and the heading down to 2. So now they are quite similar, but again, way too many decimals and no percentage signs behind the values. Then we select the map layer, open the symbology of that one, go to the same place as when we changed the format of the other legend. Now we change the category from numeric to percentage. In decimal places, 1, yeah, 0, like that. Now we can have that one at the bottom there. And we also need a title, you know. So I think we have a little bit too little space for the title. So let's make the maps a little bit smaller. Alt Shift, they will be the same. Or if you hold Shift while changing the size, the map frames will respect the aspect ratio. So now we have something like that. Not too bad. Then we can add a bold, huge title. Oslo maps. Why not? I mean, text symbol, make it gigantic, bold. Well, I don't like that it goes beyond the maps, so let's reduce it to 64 perhaps. Yeah, now we have something going on. So of course we can tweak with the hierarchy and the space and everything, but now we can just leave this as it is for now. Otherwise we can spend 3 more hours if we want to. Brief comment before we go on and export this layout is that if you actually want to change the size of the layout manually, that's possible. You go to layout up here, then go under page setup, you have this here where you can go down to custom page size. Then we can, well, why not? Width 180 and height then 280. Let's see what happens. Well, now everything fits much more better, and now I actually can, I think, paste this right into a Word page document. So, and we can also add a text box. Oh, I almost forgot scale bar and north arrow. Oh, that won't do. A text box explaining data sources, municipality of Oslo, like that. And we can then, well, something like that. Well, for scale bar, you can select the map frame. That's important if they have different scale. And then select, make sure to use some of the metric and not imperial ones, because we're, well, based in Norway after all. Then keep it as simple as possible, really. And here we can make this much more simpler than it already is here. Label, use km instead of kilometers. And over here, properties, we can reduce the number of divisions down to 2. And frequency, I only want the ends. Oh, did I do something wrong here now? I don't know what I did now. It goes in both directions. I didn't want that. Okay, let's try again. Like that. And divisions down to 2. And then ends and 0. That was more like it. And then again changing kilometers to km. Like that. And we don't need that mid value already. That neat. Don't overdo these kind of extra elements. That's only supposed to give additional information. They're not supposed to. Now I held in control while I use the key arrows to like make sure it's like has a certain offset from the outline of the map frames. I only did it down here, but you get the idea. And then a north arrow. Again, keep it simple. And oh, well, first of all, it's a little bit huge. Something like that. But it's kind of annoying that it's little bit tilted. And even though that is the direction to the true north, we can cheat a little bit by going to the properties of the north arrow and select map north. And then we can just keep it simple here. Copy paste. Oh yeah, we did I made the scale bar for that. Now we have all the information we need and we can export these maps. So let's go to share up here in the top menu and layout, and here we can choose whether we want to export it as a JPEG, a PDF, or anything in between, and the location of the output and the name. So let's call it Oslo Maps. And one thing to to be careful about is the resolution. If you want to print the map out on paper, you need a resolution of 300 dots per inch, or DPI. If you know that you're only going to use the map for computer screens and online purposes and PowerPoint projections, presentations, it's enough with 96. And then export. Yeah, and I've made this file already once, so why not overwrite it, of course. And then we export, and we may have a final product. Beautiful.